All right, so the next one here, Iran vows harsh response for bombing that killed over 100 Iranians. So there's a huge bombing in Iran on Wednesday, and it targeted the southeastern city of Kerman, and January 3rd was the 4th anniversary of the U.S. drone strike in Baghdad that killed Qasem Soleimani. He was the Iranian general in charge of the IRGC's Quds Force. And the Quds Force is known as kind of leading the Iranian, axis of resistance, as they call it in the region. And he was very involved in the war against ISIS. The U.S. and Soleimani were on the same side in that war. And then they turned around. The U.S. didn't want to leave after that. And so anyway, it was during this commemoration for him that this bombing occurred. And at least 103 people were killed, including women and children. So Iranian officials said that 2 separate bombs were placed in bags on the side of the road, leading to a cemetery where a large crowd of people was heading to. And the Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said in a statement on the bombing, quote, "The evil and criminal enemies of the Iranian nation once again created a disaster and martyred a large number of dear people in Kerman. This disaster will have a harsh response, God willing," end quote. So Iran has not yet formally, officially attributed blame for this bombing. Israel is certainly a prime suspect because Israel has a history of carrying out attacks inside Iran, including sabotage attacks at nuclear facilities, which usually involve some sort of explosion, targeted assassinations of Iranian nuclear scientists. IRGC officers have also been gunned down in Iran in Israeli assassination plots. And they've also conducted drone attacks with kind of small, kamikaze drones against facilities in Iran. But they haven't, this is a huge bombing. This is far beyond anything Israel has done before in Iran. And there's also another suspect is the MEK, which is a exiled Iranian cult, basically, that they're based in Albania. And they have been involved in some of the Israeli operations inside Iran because they have assets in the country. But we'll see. And as I've been covering, Israel, especially Netanyahu, they have the incentive to, it looks like they're trying to provoke a regional war to get the U.S. dragged into it. That's what it seems like they're doing with that drone strike in Beirut. They killed an IRGC commander in Syria recently. So they've really been, bombing Syria, Lebanon, Gaza, of course. There's stuff happening all over the place. So the U.S. officials are pointing to ISIS as a potential culprit, and ISIS has carried out attacks inside Iran in recent years. So that's a possibility. And they were also an enemy, a sworn enemy of Soleimani. So the Iranian mission to the UN hinted that Israel could have been responsible in a post on X. The mission said, quote, "The fear of the Zionist regime and its puppet terrorist groups of martyr Soleimani led to another crime in Kerman during his commemoration ceremony. Iran will respond with fire and fury to the orchestrators, perpetrators, and anyone who's aided and abetted in this terrorist attack," end quote. And Iran's ambassador to the UN said in a letter to top UN officials that a comprehensive investigation was underway to find out who the perpetrators are. And I know from following this stuff for a while now, some of these Israeli attacks that you see happen in Iran, Israel doesn't officially take credit. An attack will happen, and Iran usually won't immediately blame Israel. They usually wait a little while, and then they come out and formally accuse Israel. And so, if it was Israel, it's just huge. But, we don't know for sure if it was. But like I said, I think they are the prime suspect considering the timing and everything else that's happening.